Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. This is your Chelsea, well, technically Man United Chelsea preview. At tomorrow's game, honestly, we've played United at some of their worst times possible. And I mean, United have looked pretty much not great for, at least the last two seasons. And every time we show up to Old Trafford, even with a much better team, we just don't look like we're going to do much. Like, we always somehow play just as terrible as Man United. Somehow they always make us look just as bad as they do. And honestly, I'm expecting tomorrow to be somewhat of a very cagey affair, honestly, because we just don't seem to do well against this team. And if we're not able to beat them tomorrow, it's going to be a while for us to actually beat Man United. And that's like even being very serious. This team haven't looked great at all. That United team haven't looked great. And to be honest, we haven't looked um, as put together either. We haven't lost in the Prem, so that's pretty good. But again, that the showing to Bayern Munich just it showed us that we still have a lot to improve on. I think playing Bayern showed us the golf and class and how it all could just change in a minute. I think that's what Bayern Munich actually really showed us. And they didn't even have to do much to beat us. That's the problem with the Bayern game. Everything was just basically everything in that game was self-sabotage. Like a lot of the decisions could have been very much avoided. That penalty could have been avoided. Um, Even that own goal from Chalobah, it's just that ball came so quick to him. It just felt like he couldn't really adjust his feet. And then that gusto back pass to Harry Kane, which you can't make these schoolboy errors against these teams. They would absolutely punish you. They will punish you. And against Bayern, we just capitulated. Like it was done for. So tomorrow we have an opportunity to kind of build back some kind of like confidence in this team. That performance, could have had us a bit shaken, but I think even more so against Brentford, that should have been a game we picked up 3 points, but we only picked up one. And tomorrow, I'm expecting it to be very cagey. I'm expecting this game to not really have a lot of quality because I think United are just going to make us not look great. They're going to somehow turn up for this game. It's just, you've kind of seen this script before where they just turn up for the game and they just stink up the spot. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what United do. They turn up the first, 10, 15, 20 minutes. I expect them to be on the front, like the front foot. I expect United to be pressing really high. I expect United to have a lot of energy because whenever maybe not all the other big boys, but whenever we come to town, it's a whole different United. They show up all of a sudden you're seeing patterns. You're seeing a team that is playing, with a cohesion and a unity, and you're seeing a team that is just, for some reason, it just feels like they found some sort of like, some tactical knowledge. They found some sort of like extra step, and it's just this game. I don't even know how to describe it because we've seen this so many times. Last season, we thought, yeah, we should have definitely been putting them to the sword, and we needed Caicedo to rescue us. The season before that, under Pochettino, we thought, yeah, we should have definitely went there and gotten a good result, and we went and we got slapped. So we haven't won at Old Trafford since 2013, I believe. That's a record that needs to change. That's a record that needs to, records are meant to be broken. And this just feels like one of those that inevitably has to be broken. Amarin has broken every single record you could think of as a United manager. And I feel like this should be one of the other ones that he should as well. But it's honestly, I think tomorrow's game is going to be up to us based on how we're going to play and how we line up. I think if we do go to Old Trafford and we're just if we're being passive with it, if we're being um if we're just being lackluster, I think this game will be it might be tough. So I'm expecting Maresca to kind of have these guys, just show up and play with some confidence. I think one of the biggest things for me, and you could tell sometimes from these performances, it's like when we show up to the big stages, when we, show up to play the bigger teams, it feels like a lot of these guys just shrink. It just feels like they don't feel they belong on the stage. That's just what I think. Against PSG, I think it was one of those where everybody just rallied because we also were in a good moment at that time. We kept on winning games, even against Benfica, Fluminense, performances was pretty good. And it just felt like the whole world just were expecting us to get slapped around. So I think however he was able to like galvanize this team and just have them playing, that has to be the same thing tomorrow. It might not be to the extent of PSG, to the extent of Bayern, because again, United are not in a great moment, but you still can't underestimate Man United. We've seen the results recently. The results haven't been good. Um, Losing to Grimsby, again, it's unforgivable, that kind of result, to be honest with you. Losing to Grimsby. But if you look at United's their last 4 or 5 fixtures, it's just been up and down, up and down. They did get that win against Burnley, but they really had to work for that win. They really had to work for that result. So if Burnley could go to Old Trafford, you know, and kind of almost get a result, then you're expecting a team that is clearly much better than Burnley to be able to go up there and kind of show a performance. But when it's United and Burnley are going to try to hit United more on the break. If anything, it's the onus is always going to be on United to break a team like Burnley. When we go there, the onus is on us to break down United. That's where I feel like, especially in transitions, they could potentially hurt us. You have players like Cunha, who likes a goal against Chelsea, and Mbumo likes a goal against Chelsea. You know, Bruno Fernandes turns up against Chelsea. So you just want to be able to field a team that can go there and just handle, the momentum. Like when United are on top, you still want players who are able to just calm the game down for us. So I think starting with the right personnel tomorrow will be very, very important because there's going to be moments where United are going to be like on the ascendancy. They're going to have the upper hand. But you need some of your leaders, you need some of your better players to be able to just calm the game down and just play the ball around. Get on the ball and impose your style on United. Don't give to United too much respect tomorrow because I think one of the worst things you can do as a team like Chelsea is give United the respect they don't deserve right now. Because then what happens is it starts to play on your psyche. It starts to give them more belief that they could really hurt you. And you give this United team an opportunity to just, be like, you know what? Throw caution to the wind. Let's go and let's try to exploit the frailties in this Chelsea team. It's going to be a long day for us. So I don't want Maresca to give United any type of respect with the lineup, with the way we're playing. I want you to impose your style on United. Because if you have United imposing their style on us, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long afternoon. The other side could be, we've temp, we've always had this capacity to be the team that gives people 3 points. Like when teams look like they need to be just buried and just done up. We somehow turn to like charity FC. We always somehow give people the chance to build some momentum. Whenever we've had the opportunity to be like, all right, you know what, this team is on a bad run, let's pile on more misery. We somehow make them look like Real Madrid, Prime Barcelona, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool. We just always have had, honestly, I hope he does. I hope he gets, I think he's going to get the space and he's going to have more quality around him. Like last season, we had Noni Madueke start that game. Who else started that game? I think it was Pedro Neto, Nicholas Jackson, and it's just you've improved that kind of attacking, structure. And now he definitely Cole Palmer is really looking back, like he's looking sharp. Maybe that little injury he had was kind of what we needed for him to kind of get a break, a reset, and just go on again. So tomorrow, like I was saying, I'm not expecting this manager to give United too much respect because one thing you don't want to do is make them feel like, you know what, they can really go for it. Then we're going to be under a lot of pressure. Our center back partnership, I've seen a lot of things over the week. People want to see Chalobah dropped. People want to see Tosin dropped. And to be fair, I think if we had better options, this wouldn't be a problem. You could take Tosin out, you could take Chalobah out, you could bring in better, but that's just all we got. We have Tosin, Chalobah, Fafana, and Young Josh. And honestly, tomorrow, this is one of those games. If you want to throw Josh Achampong in, I would probably say not, only because I think you got to understand sometimes the moment can get to players. Someone like Josh, it could be one of those games where, it feels like, okay, this is my moment. This is my chance to really break out. Or it could be one of those games where he's just, under the lights, under the pressure against Man United, he just shrinks. So I just, for me, I personally, I'll bring up the lineup in a bit, like in a minute, but I think, yeah, Josh shouldn't start this game for me. I think you run it back with the center back partnership we had against Bayern Munich. That's just what I will personally do. Only because, again, you want to give Tosin some kind of room to improve on some of these issues we've seen from him in the last couple of games. Not closing people enough. I think what you call it, not being quick to close people, letting people shoot on their the stronger foot. He's got to be able to iron those out. And even when Tosin was out, Maresca said, the only person that can play that Levi Colwell role is Tosin. So knowing that and knowing you need to play, and beat the press of United, because United, I think they're going to press. I think the first couple of minutes, they're going to be on it. I feel like they're going to be, it's just whenever we pull up in town, they are just ready. If Chelsea score first and the floodgates will open, yes, we need to get the first goal. We definitely need to get the first goal tomorrow, because if we have to be playing catch up, that disgusting way they play, it'll be weird. We need to get the first goal, absolutely, because if they do, yeah, it's gonna be long, because it's just they'll be very frustrated. See, I would like to see Santos start tomorrow. I don't know if it's a very weird feeling, but let me just pull up the lineup at this point, because this is what I expect United to this is what I expect United to okay, not this. I expect United to line up in their customary 4-3, no, 3-4-3. Sorry, I was about to talk about Chelsea for a minute. But I expect them to start in the 3-4-3. This is what I think their team is going to look like. There we go. So this is what I'm expecting their United team to kind of look like. Mason Mount is back from injury. I think he's going to play. Laments, I think, should start or would start this game. Look, Bayern, if they want to start Bayern, calm. I'll rather see Bayern and go anywhere because Lemens is one of those unknown quantities, and it's just he could just show up. And when I think Spurs played a certain game when whatever that goalkeeper was, he came in and he had a blinding kind of like debut. Like the guy was so good. We all thought, yo, Tottenham have found like a good goalkeeper. And then he just became, we actually saw the guy wasn't that great. But Lemens, unknown quantity, he could really show up tomorrow, no pressure, and just perform, or he could show up and the game would just be too quick for him. But either way, I think he starts and go. I think the back three is going to be Euro, Delict, and Shaw. Look Shaw against the right winger I'm picking. I'm expecting us to give him some sort of a difficult game. You're gonna have Dorgo on that side, tracking back, helping Shaw. But I expect our right winger to just be going at Luke Shaw at every opportunity. I think Casemiro starts to midfield. Um, yeah, that's my thing. Like, I just this is one of those games I could easily see us losing just because of for whatever reason when we play United, we just our quality drops to their level. Like they bring us down to wherever they are. So this game, I could genuinely see either a draw. I could see all three, um, outcomes. Really, we could win this game very narrowly. We could draw this game. It could be a boring ass game, or we could genuinely lose this game. Like we really could. We just can. So yeah, I think Casemiro, Bruno in that midfield, yo, we should be feasting. Like whoever the partnership that plays should be having a lot of joy against like Cass. He reads the game well, but is the legs ain't really there. So I think whoever we play in that role, Cass, Bruno, they would have to really have an eye on Cole Palmer in those central areas. And I don't think any of them can really get to Palmer, to be honest with you. So we just have to make sure when it comes to Mbumo against Cucurella, Cunha with our center backs and Caicedo protecting that area, we just need to make sure we are on it. Mount could have a Mason Mount type of game, all cardio, not much quality, just being tidy in possession. I don't again, I don't want to jinx it, but I don't expect Mount to be, doing the most. But again, this is one of those games. These guys could just turn up and just be playing. Maresca needs to tell Reece James to help Tosin in those wide areas. Imbumo versus Tosin would be tough for Tosin, but James would be there to help. Well, thing is, Tosin wouldn't really be playing on Imbumo's side because Mbumo, I think, is going to play, kind of in that right kind of half space. So if anything, Cucurella would need to be on it, and whoever our CDM is, they have to kind of give my man's Cucurella some of that help. Look, Cunha and Bumo, they like a goal against Chelsea. Like no matter what happens, they somehow do what they need to do. We know at the Emirates, St. James Park, or yeah, that's what I've been saying. Like it just feels like whenever we play these big teams, we're nervous. Like it's almost like everything we learned during the week just goes out the window. It's just once they see the occasion, it's like they panic, which is something like whatever was done when we played PSG. I think that video, whatever happened, should be played before the game, where it's just you're letting these guys know, yo, we've played better teams, we've beaten better teams, we've beaten stronger teams. You have to have that confidence and you have to go into this game not being afraid. Like you got to let our guys know, yo, it's United. You have to go out there and you have to just run through them. Like you have to let United know you're actually better than them. But I think it's a performance thing, man. Whenever we see it's the big lights, we just can't do it. We just, bro, I don't know what it is, but I feel like I want that, what you call it, that perspective. I kind of want that mentality to shift. It's just, I have a very just not a great feeling that this game is going to be one of those where, at least this time I haven't really heard people say we got to go there and beat them like 3-0, 4-0, because we did that last year and we almost lost this game. So I think it's just, again, they did have that manager bounce, but still, it's like, bro, we should be beating United. So this is the team I think they're going for. Cunha and Bumo. I think those are going to be they're dangerous players. And Bruno Fernandes is somebody that some United fans rate, others can't wait to get rid of. They and it's for me. I think if you take Bruno out of this United team, I genuinely struggle to see where a lot of their creativity comes from. I know people might not like Bruno. I know they might not rate Fernandes, but I just struggle to see where United, where their quality and their creativity comes from. Like this guy genuinely could be very infuriated, but he still has that quality to hurt you. Set pieces, penalties, the those passes. It's just if you take Bruno out of this United team, I struggle to see how they will create chances. Like I genuinely struggle to see how they'll get the ball from midfield to attack. If you want to do, Casemiro and Kobe Manu, I think that midfield will be a terrible kind of balance. Casemiro and Ugarte, I think it will be even worse. Bruno Manu, I think, is still not strong enough. At least Cass, even though he might not have the legs, I think he still gives you a bit more physicality midfield. He gives you experience. He kind of knows where to be at times. And that's probably like for this game, that's probably their strongest, use Santos because Enzo's not fit. He's struggling. He should play Caicedo, Santos, and Esteval. So let's just look at the Chelsea lineup that I went with. Let's look at that because it will give you a bit more perspective on what I think we could really use in this game. So yeah, let's just look at this Chelsea lineup real quick. And so this is what I went with. I went with James. I went with Tosin, Chalobah, Cucurella. I've brought Lavia into this game to beat that United press specifically. Like every time we've seen Lavia come, like Lavia hasn't really had a lot of game time, but for me, he's kind of like the Reece James, where once he comes into that team, he just plays. Like that guy, when it comes to beating that United press, making sure we're not too overrun in midfield, I think Lavia could give us a lot of like that solid foundation. If not Lavia, you could also go Andre Santos. But I just think this is the type of game where Lavia Caicedo just gives you a very strong, very solid base where you can have your Estevals, your Palmers. I think Maresca might go Garnacho because, again, Neto is looking a bit too, let's just say, fatigued. He's played a lot of minutes, so you could go with the fresher option. And to be honest, this guy just seems like he might have something to prove in this game. Just for this United game, it's worth throwing Garnacho in there. Just for this game, it's worth throwing in that unpredictability, that, just chaos. Sometimes you need a bit of just unpredictable chaos to just do something. That's the type of player Garnacho is sometimes. Some of his actions might not be controlled, but guess what? He might try to do a skill. He'll flop the skill, but somehow the ball will go to somebody else and we got to go. And you could just tell like he has, you can feel it that this guy has something to prove. So the only reason I'm going Lavia and Caicedo, because again, you could really go Andre Santos, but I think even having Lavia gives Caicedo that opportunity to push up a bit more. You understand what I mean? I think you could give Caicedo that space. You could give Caicedo the responsibility to win the ball back high. We know Caicedo's fantastic on the ball. He can score. He can pass the ball. He can give us that energy, that counter press. Bro, Caicedo trying to counter press, winning that ball back higher up, for me, I think, yes, it could definitely, I think it will give us a different element and a different dynamic to this attack. I think Lavia will read a lot of what United are trying to do. And when it comes to beating that press, that first phase, bro, I think Lavia gets the ball. He turns and he plays what he sees. Lavia turns, he sees Palmer making a run, he's gonna play it. He sees Esteval, he's playing that ball. He sees Garnacho, he's playing it. So that's why I want to bring Lavia into this team. But again, you could just do Andre Santos. For that, we can put Santos here. We could take out Lavia, bring Santos, and I'm calm with it. I'm calm with that too. I could roll with this too. If you want to make this change, you can make this change. Caicedo holds, Santos box crushes. So then you're gonna have something like this, or maybe you do this like that, or you could do this. So I think with buildup, it's probably gonna look something kind of like this in a bit. So this is what it might look like in possession. The problem with this for me is, yeah, but yes, very, very valid point, right? I think Lavia and Caicedo, you want to save them for the bigger games, but I think you have Caicedo as one of the guys that pushes higher up, and you could just have Lavia just clean it up. Like you could just have Lavia cleaning up everything that's happening. And you know what? In this game, you don't even need Tosin to do a lot of that, playing out from the back. You don't need Tosin to worry about. Just tell Tosin, worry about defending. You get the ball, play into Lavia, and just keep it real simple. One of the biggest problems for me in this game is if we have a situation where Chalobah is playing on the left side of defense, bro, he struggles to play these balls down the line. Chalobah is not comfortable playing that ball out wide to someone like a Garnacho. So you would see him probably most likely just play the ball to Cucurella, and Cucurella will have to then, play it out here. So again, for me, if Lavia is in that role, you ain't even got to worry about that. That first phase, we could beat that United press. Yo, if you have, hold up, let me just do this again because I want the vision. Yeah, he's not left-footed, bro. He's super right-footed, and he struggles with that. He struggles big time with that. So let me just bring Lavia again, just for what I am trying to do. Right? Let's just bring Lavia back in. So yeah, Lavia in this roles. Okay. Once we beat that United press, literally, once we beat that United press, bro, it will be so much room for Palmer, Esteval, and Garnacho. It will be like fucking a highway at like 12 a.m. You could take a joyride on that shit. Like you would literally just be so much space to do what you need to do. That's why I want to bring him in, because Lavia he alleviates a lot of this Chalobah struggling to play the ball out. Tosin being pressed and making a mistake. This two right here for me will give us that solid base to just handle United comfortably. And like I said, you could just have Caicedo, or you could just do this, bro. You could do this. Like Caicedo, you can have him push up, counter press it. Like I said, winning the ball back high. You have Caicedo winning the ball in this areas, giving it to Esteval. And all you see is Esteval one-on-one, running at their defenders. Garnacho one-on-one, running at whoever the right back is. You know what I mean? So it's just, that's kind of how I want to see this. No, definitely. Trev definitely always finds Palmer with those like defense, just splitting the defense with those passes. But one thing with Chalobah is like, he's very, very inconsistent. Like at this point, Chalobah, I would have expected him to iron out a lot of the little, glitches in his game. And it just feels like he hasn't taken that next step. And don't get me wrong, when he's having a good game, he's having a very solid game. But I think other times it's just he just lags out for some reason. Just lags out for me. So that like I just look at this team and I go, okay, you know what? It has enough rotation, it has enough freshness to it, and you could just have these two guys just that midfield. When you have these guys just killing that midfield of United's, now our front four could just handle business. You know what? You want to add more bodies to the attack? Okay, cool. You could do this too. Now you could do this. You want to have, and this is what having Lavia and Caicedo could do for your team. This is what having that solid base could do for you. Because all of a sudden you can overload the midfield with Cucurella. Cucurella in this positions, we've seen him. He's improved in his shooting. He's improved. Like Cucurella is just very intelligent. In these positions, you can count on him to make the right decisions. He can maintain possession. He could be creative with it. You can still have Cucurella giving Garnacho, those either overlapping runs. I mean, I'll keep Garnacho out wide, but you could always have Cucurella do the underlapping if you want to. But this is what this base gives you right here. You have 5 people here. 5 of them. Like, and these are the overloads you can really create. Because if you look at this United team, right, bro, this is more time. This game is probably gonna go. This is probably what it's gonna be. This is what it's gonna be, right? Some weird shit like this, or you could do this. You get more bodies in midfield, a bit more defensive. You got Mount. You got these two guys operating as like 2 forwards. I don't know what Almiron is going to do, but again, I want these 2 guys to be isolated so badly that we're just creating overloads everywhere. Like genuinely, if you don't want Cucurella to do that, I say less. You could have James push up, boom. You could do that. Hold up. Tosin out wide. Actually, I don't even want to do that because I don't want to see this guy out wide. So I'm gonna leave that. But I just see it more like, hold up, one sec. This is what I see happening. I think that's what this formation gives you. That's just what that's what you could get from that. Enzo could be starting, yes, but sometimes when you're seeing your leaders are not having a good time, it's okay to take him out the game. It's genuinely okay to give Enzo a game off or have him on the bench. I mean, obviously Enzo's going to be on the bench, but it just feels like you need some freshness into this team. We need some new energy. We need some new legs. Last year, Enzo was in our midfield, and it just felt like we were getting bypassed every single time. Now, if Maresca wants to take it a certain way, where you know what, Enzo plays a bit deeper, then Enzo helps with our build-up play, first phase, just setting the tempo for this game. Like this United game, I think we could potentially be in a situation where you need Lavias, you need, Caicedos, Enzos. You need people to take the sting out of the game. Like, I feel like United are going to, listen, this could be absolutely, I hear you, definitely throwing them in at OT, but bro, I've seen Lavia and Caicedo just dominate Liverpool's midfield last year. Bro, we lost that Liverpool game because somebody wasn't tracking the run of Curtis Jones. Because that game, our midfield was spectacular, bro. And it really started with Caicedo and Lavia. Yeah, Maresca had Gusto doing the whole inverted thing. It just wasn't the best. You know what I mean? It just wasn't the best situation. But I just see this giving us a bit more of like an advantage in midfield. That's just how I see it. You want to bring Santos in? I'm calm with it because Santos can really just replace Lavia. So I'm okay with it. But just for that ability on the ball, bypassing that press, that's just why I just went with what you call it. I just went with Lavia. And we know how Lavia plays, man. He comes in, he does what he needs to do, and we keep it pushing. Lavia gives you 60 minutes, you take him off, you bring Andre Santos in, and then you're cool. But you can still have it just like this, bro. And this will still be fine. This will still be a good enough team to do what we need to do. So I'm expecting, I hope we win tomorrow, but I can't even say I'm expecting it. I can't even say I'm expecting it because Chelsea they have this bad tendency of just switching off. So it's I don't know. I don't even know what to call this game. If I had to, I'll just go with a safe 2-all. Honestly, if we win it, great. You know, I think the best thing I could probably do tomorrow is put some money on United. So even if United win, I get some money. If we win, yo, fuck the money. I don't care about it. That's just how it's. But I just we cannot. Moral of the story is we cannot lose to United tomorrow. Because if we do, boy, boy, if we lose to United, they go above us. By the way, because if you're looking at, let's look at the table real quick. So obviously Liverpool have 12 points, Arsenal 9, Spurs 9. We're fifth. If United beat us tomorrow, they go 1 point behind us. So they still don't go above us, but they go 1 point behind. And I don't want to be losing to Man United. I don't. You know, I wish we could start Lavia this game, but I'd rather not risk an injury this game to have him. You know, Lavia is going to be out anyway. Like Lavia has shown us he'll give us a few, games and then he'll be out. So when he's available, yo, play him. But I understand if you want to keep Lavia for the bigger games coming up, that's fine too. But bro, he's fit. You know what I mean? Like he's fit. Play the guy. I think he's one of our best midfielders when available. Just play him. And if we're dominating that midfield, it could be a very comfortable afternoon as well. Like, just, be smart. Just be smart. I will start Lavia, but that's just me. That would have been my lineup. So this game, I expect it to be like a 2-2. If we're going to win it, then I think we probably win it 3-2 or 2-1. And if we're going to lose it 2-1. Because I think we're going to score a goal. So if we're going to lose it, I think United beat us 2-1. If we're winning it, I think we win either 2-1, 3-2, or it's a 2-2 draw. I can't pick one. But that's just the unfortunate situation. But let's look at a few of the other games coming up this weekend. We have a few games coming up. You got Liverpool taking on Everton at 7:30 a.m. I think UK time, that would be what? 1 in the afternoon for you guys, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe like 12. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like what, 12:30 for you guys, 7:30 for us. Liverpool have been on form. They have been on some scintillating form, and they just keep winning games late on. Like I saw somewhere someone said the money Liverpool paid for Wirtz was not just for Wirtz, but for that Leverkusen aura. And bro, I'm starting to now obviously believe that, but it's like it's annoying because Liverpool this season, let's be honest, they could have been on genuinely 4 points in the league. Genuinely, Liverpool could have been on 4 points. Every single game they've won last minute. Last week against Burnley, they could have drawn that game. Against Bournemouth, they could have drawn that game. Against Newcastle, could have drawn that game. Against Arsenal, they could have drawn that game. But for some reason, they keep turning those draws into wins. How much of that can continue, I don't know. And to think, you know what, that team is going to get a bit better. Isak is yet to really, really find his feet. Verts, look, I have seen people try to be like, yo, why are you on Verts? Why? Nah, you got to keep the same energy. For you to cost 116 million British pounds, you cannot be performing the way you do. I am so sorry. This is just the business. When Caicedo had that debut, a state literally Caicedo, when he improved even during the season, he never started getting that respect till the end of kind of getting close to the end of the season. That's when Caicedo started really getting his respect. When he scored that goal with the blood, when Caicedo started going blunt and he was backing up those performances, that's when people started to say, all right, you know what? This guy's actually valid. But before that, every bad game, Caicedo could have a good game, make two mistakes, and he was being crushed on. So, nah, the energy is not going to be different. There's nothing special about Lil Uzi Verts. There's nothing special about him. We were told he's a better 10 than Cole Palmer. Word. Word. Cole Palmer, who has 74 or 75 goals and assists in 100 performances. Verts is better than him. That was diabolical. Like, it just felt like somebody was just trying to talk shit. Because there's no way Palmer has done what he's done in the Prem to be compared to Verts. So this guy he's been stinging up the joint. But Liverpool have been winning, so nobody cares. But we're still going to care because, bro, for that kind of money, minimum, you got to be getting 30 GA. Like, he's got to be getting 30 GA. Florian Squirts, he has to be getting, pause, bro. Pause. He has to be getting 30 GA. I'm sorry, for that kind of bread, yo, people were expecting Superman-like performances from Caicedo. That's what people were expecting. For a DM, they wanted this guy to single-handedly control games, win his games, shut out everything, damn near be a bulletproof vest for that Chelsea defense. So, But tomorrow's game, Liverpool, Everton, obviously a Merseyside derby. Everton have been in decent form as well. They have been playing some really good football. Like Grealish, it's looking like Grealish, You got Dewsbury Hall, UCL Dewsbury Hall doing this thing, goals, assists. And you also have, what's his name? The number 10 on that side. This Everton team, actually, they look good, bro. Like, I ain't never gonna hold you. But are they going to be able to beat Liverpool tomorrow at Anfield? Look, you just never know. That's the beauty of football. Liverpool tomorrow could go and easily lose to Everton 2-1 at home. But do I think they're actually going to do it? I don't think so. I think Liverpool at home are just a different animal. They have one of the best defenders, Van Dijk, in that team. And, I've said this a few times. If Chelsea had Liverpool's back line, yo, we go far. Like, we genuinely go far. Even if we only had Van Dijk, even just Van Dijk and Tosin or Van Dijk and Chalobah, I think he would literally improve these guys' games to a certain level. Like, this guy is he is certified. Very, very good defender. So when you have him, you have match winners like Salah, who can legit have an awful game and still pull out with a goal, a winner, something. It's just, they just have, match winners all over that pitch. Now you have Szoboszlai, who's playing out of position, but he's contributing a lot to this Liverpool team. Now, all of a sudden, Szoboszlai looks like a mainstay in that team, almost like one of those first names on that team sheet from a right back position. Obviously, he's going to get tested a lot, especially against someone like Grealish. If Szoboszlai plays that role, I think Grealish would test him. Grealish would definitely give him something to think about because he ain't a defender. If Everton ever had a chance to beat Liverpool at Anfield or even take anything away, I think it will be now. Only because they have this team that is just performing really well. They look balanced. They look like, you know what I mean? They look like they have something about them. In their last five, they've won three, they've drawn one, they've lost one. So they're good. But I expect Liverpool to win this game. Do I see Everton getting a goal? Yeah, potentially. I think Everton can get a goal, but they shouldn't play Beto. Beto just, bro, I don't even know what kind of striker to describe Beto as because he just, you would expect him to be a physical, like striker. And at times he wants to play like that, but it's just the guy's touch, his finishing, it's just very erratic. But then again, who do they have on the bench that could really come into that starting lineup for them? So it's going to be a very interesting game though. But I expect Liverpool to probably win this game 2-1. It's a derby. I think it's going to be a difficult game, but I expect Liverpool to win this game 2-1. I think the best Everton can get out of this would be a draw. And I think that'll be a great result for them. Spurs also take on Brighton. Tottenham have looked good under Thomas Frank. No losses yet. They're grinding up results. Got their win in the champs. You have Xavi Simmons, you have Sar, you have Kudus, you have Bentancur, you have Paulinho, you have the young what's his name? The young player, Bergval. Their defense is all of a sudden looking real solid. The line ain't as high. Now you're seeing the defense looking a bit more capable. Van der Ven, Romero looking pretty solid. You have Jet Spence looking really good as well. Got his England cap. This Spurs team is looking a lot more balanced than we thought it was gonna look. How like every season we play them, it's a sure guaranteed 6-pointer. The way Thomas Frank is setting this Spurs team up, it's looking like we're going to have to work for some of these results against Tottenham. Against Brighton are playing at home. Look, Brighton can win this game. Tottenham can win this game. If I had to go for a prediction, I don't want to see Spurs keep winning. I just don't know if Brighton are going to do enough to win this game. I think Mente is Welbeck's injured. If Welbeck is not injured, then I can see him, kind of doing something. But my honest feeling is Tottenham probably win this game 2-1, maybe 3-1. I just think they're in such good form that you got to give credit where credit is due. They're looking solid. They're playing well against this Brighton team. Look, I can see Tottenham winning this game 2-1, 3-1. I could also see Brighton winning this game. I just don't know what the scoreline will be. But I see Tottenham winning this game. And yeah, they're playing well. Like this ain't one of those where you have to kind of hate on them. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. Burnley, Forest, Big Ange, bro. Ange and Forest was the weirdest matchup you could potentially ever think about. Like it just looked weird, and they've actually been not great. Like Forest have been, didn't they lose? They lost to Swansea in the cup game. I'm sorry. Forest should not be losing to Swansea. Not with that kind of squad. That Forest team is deep. That Forest team have players, bro. Like they have players. You have Douglas Luiz, Hudson Odoi, Chris Wood, Gibbs White. Like you have a squad. Anderson, Sangare, Murray. Like they should not be losing some of these games they're losing. But again, maybe they really outperformed their XG as a team. And they just like last season might have just been a blip. because for some reason they really stayed in the top five, top six for a very, very long time. They looked like they were going to get Champions League. So did they just overperform like crazy, or this is just back to reality? But again, it was not a smart decision letting Nuno go. I don't think Ange was the guy to bring in. Like this team doesn't look like an Ange. Like it looks like a Thomas Frank type of team where he'll make them like very difficult to beat. You know what I mean? But hey, Ange is who they have. They're playing Burnley. Burnley were unfortunate to lose to Man United. Um, Very, very unfortunate. But and they lost narrowly to Liverpool as well. So if anything, Burnley are coming into this game probably with a bit more of, can I say confidence? Even though they've lost their last two, I think they'll come into this game with nothing to lose. Forest ain't on a great run. Burnley narrowly lost to Liverpool, narrowly lost to Man United. They beat Sunderland and they beat what team is this? Derby County in the what was it in the cup. So I think they come into this game with a maybe their tails actually high, and they're playing at home. So I expect this game to be very, very, very difficult. Um, Leslie Ogochukwu, I'm happy to see him having some serious game time. This guy looks like he would develop really, really well. Um, their strikers, Anthony Foster. When you watch them in certain like in certain aspects of the game, they look like the type of players that maybe a Tottenham will want to sign at some point. One of those, maybe not Brighton, because Brighton like to buy a certain way, but maybe like a Tottenham, Bournemouth, these type of teams. They look like the kind of players that could play for those teams, and or maybe like a Wolves, maybe. But I expect them to give Forest a. I actually think they win this game. I think Burnley actually win this game against Forest. I think Forest. I don't know, man. Andrew was just not the guy they should have brought in. Not for this team. It just this don't feel like an Ange, like a Postecoglou type of team. Just doesn't. I expect Burnley to win this game. So I'm gonna go Burnley to win this game. 2-1. Yeah. So let's go Burnley 2-1 to win this game. Our next match coming up. Sorry, my screen is loading right now. Why is it taking mad long to load? Got West Ham Crystal Palace at 10 a.m. for us. I believe 3 p.m. for you guys. West Ham have not been they've not been cooking nothing. Palace, on the other hand, even though they have lost Eze, Palace have been playing well. Palace are a very well structured team. They play like a team. They play for each other. Honestly, I think they might be one of those teams that people should look out for. I think you should look out for Palace because, yeah, they might not score a lot of goals. A lot of the creativity has been gone since Eze has left, but I still think they stay in games. And against teams like West Ham, I expect Palace to actually show up and do something. Like I expect it to be a good game, actually. I think it'll be a good game. I just don't know if West Ham have enough to win this game. West Ham, so far, they have one dub. So far, they have one dub. Can they win against Palace? I'm looking at their team, and it's like, if Bowen doesn't show up, if Paqueta doesn't show up, where do you get your goals? Like, where do you generally get your goals from this team? It's looking like it's going to be a long season for West Ham. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to go Palace to win this game. I'm going to go 2-1 Palace. Let's just go 2-1 Palace. I don't see West Ham beating Palace in this game, even though they're at home. Let's see the next game coming up. That's Leeds, Wolves. This is one of those games. It could go maybe either way, but I expect Wolves. They're playing at home. Um, I what's score prediction for this game? 3-1 Wolves. Let's just go 3-1 Wolves. We already covered the Chelsea United. This game is just hard to call, man. Like I don't want to say we're gonna win and then we're gonna embarrass. I don't expect us to lose, but it's just it's a weird one. If Chelsea win this game, like I've said, they win it 2-1, 3-2. If they lose it, I think we lose it 2-1. Um, and if we draw 2-2. Fulham Brentford should be a very good game again. London Derby. Fulham at home. Brentford away. They're Brentford are just annoying. But again, when they play at home, they give you a hard time. But I think Fulham should have enough to win this game. Um, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go through. Hmm, I'll go 2-0 Fulham. I'll go 2-0 Fulham. I don't know why, but I feel maybe this might be a 2-0 Fulham. And then tomorrow, Newcastle Bournemouth should be a very good game. Two good teams battling it out. Ariola, that's his name, right? Their manager. Bro, this guy is gonna be on the shopping list for a lot of these teams because the way he has this Bournemouth team playing after losing their center back partnership, literally losing both of them, and he still has this team cooking. He had this team cooking up Tottenham. He has this team giving Liverpool a very, very hard game. He has this team looking like, yo, they slapped up Spurs. They beat, Brighton as well. Yeah, this Bournemouth team is they're exciting to watch when it's not against your team. When it's against your team, you don't want to play them. Their star player right now, Semenyo, bro. People have said this. Semenyo could have been a signing we made for the left flank, instead of Garnacho and Gittins. I still believe Gittins is going to come out good. Garnacho is just a toss up, but Semenyo he's been playing really well. He's been carrying that Bournemouth attack, and the guy is just strong, both footed, serious shot power, good work rate. Just very good application. Bournemouth, yeah, they're like, I think they're one of those teams that like they're kind of everybody's second team, especially when they're not playing your team. You just want to see them do well because they just play some really good football and they have a good coach. But they're playing against Newcastle. But at home, I'm always going to back Bournemouth at home, regardless of who it is. I think at home, they just play a certain way that gives them a chance to win these games. So this game, I'm gonna go 2-1 Bournemouth. This game could really end in a draw as well. It could be like one of those 2-2. Um, or if Newcastle are going to win this game, I think Newcastle will have to score 3 goals to beat Bournemouth at home. So if Newcastle were going to win it, I'll say Newcastle has to win it 3-2. If Bournemouth win it, I think they win 2-1. If it's a tie, then I can see like a very like I can see a goalless draw. Just very tactical, very defensive on both teams, and this game just ends 0-0. But if I had to go for a winner, I'm gonna go Bournemouth 2-1 at home. Sunderland, Aston Villa. Yo, Sunderland have started the season decently as well. Actually, they won their first 2 games. But they drew to Palace. So again, not too bad, but I expect Villa to have enough for Sunderland. I expect Watkins. It's just Villa's form has not been great either. Their form hasn't been great. They haven't won no game in 5. They've drawn 2 games. Brentford and Everton lost to. Oh, they lost to Brentford again. Lost to Crystal Palace, and they drew 0-0 to Newcastle. You think they should have enough to beat Sunderland though, but at the Stadium of Light, yeah, anything is possible. Like Villa could go and lose this game. But I expect Villa to win this game. I'll probably go with a 2-1. They genuinely haven't scored a Premier League goal. That's kind of crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. But Villa genuinely only have like a recognized striker, and that's Watkins. Like they went from having Rashford, Asensio, Leon Bailey, wasn't him John Durant, to just that's it. And this could genuinely continue tomorrow where they don't score a goal, and this game ends in a goalless draw as well. Like I could genuinely see that happening. So, but I would expect Villa to probably win this game very narrowly, 2-1 or 1-0 to Villa. But again, Sunderland can win this game, but I'm gonna go 2-1 Villa. And then on Sunday, the big one, Arsenal, Man City, and before Arsenal signed Eze, before they signed Yokeres, before they signed Mascara, they do have a good team. It's just scoring goals. Like when you look at Morgan Rogers, Harvey, see Elliott, I think he's a decent player. I've just never really rated him highly. But Onana, good midfielder. Sancho could always add something to your attack when he's really in the mood. I've always still thought Sancho was a good player. Could have done a lot better, but I still retain the the perspective that he's a good player and he will add something to this team. I think the creativity, he can add something to that team. But they got to start scoring goals. Because if Watkins ain't scoring goals and Morgan Rogers ain't really a goal scorer. Elliott ain't really a goal scorer. So then who are the goal scorers in this team that are going to push you up? I just don't know. But Arsenal, Man City, this game at the Emirates, low key, I'm gonna go with an Arsenal win. I think City have definitely come into some form. Holland is scoring goals. Holland is always going to score goals. Holland is always going to score goals. But again, City lost to they lost to Spurs and they lost to Brighton. Arsenal, on the other hand, they have been defensively sound. They've genuinely had clean sheets in almost every other game but the Liverpool game. So they're coming in with great form. Let's talk about Noni for a second, because when Noni used to have these performances for Chelsea, when Chelsea fans used to say, one of Madueke's greatest strengths was always his take on ability. Like we've always known Noni on his day could beat whatever defender. Like if he wants to be on it, Noni could just really take you to the cleaners. But it's always been what happens after that. What's the action after that? Does Noni put in a dangerous enough ball to a point where he's creating a lot of danger? Or is it just always the same old? And right now, Arsenal fans are in that phase, I think, where because they wrote him off so quickly, so soon, him showing promise, him showing quality in moments has them thinking, yo, Chelsea really sold us their best winger. But what they're not going to forget soon come is that this is Noni Madueke. This is Noni at his best. Noni's playing for Arsenal right now at his absolute best. And we've seen this before. It's not really translated to much. But for some reason, Arsenal really want to get one over us so badly. They feel they've taken our best winger. Okay. We will be here. We will be here when you guys come back asking for a receipt. We'll be here when you come asking back for that refund. Because in as much as Noni can be direct, it's the end product that would annoy you the most. And it's the times where you expect him to just there will be games where Noni will have that opportunity to either kill a game for you win a game for you or bring you into that game. And he's going to mess it up. And that's when you guys are going to understand. We've put up with Noni for time. We have. You guys think, okay, enjoy Madueke. Still 005, by the way. This is no, and the funny thing is, when he used to do this for us, they used to call him a scrub. But now that he's doing this for Arsenal, rah, Noni's the best winger, and they only sold him for 52. Okay. Enjoy Madueke. We will be here when you come back for that refund. We don't do refunds, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. Enjoy Noni. This game, I expect Eze to start again, Gyökeres, but then I can see Arteta doing, bringing in like a Trossard or a Martinelli. Because let's be honest, yes, Eze has had one assist, but he hasn't really got going. It just, people have said it, and Eze's not really a left winger. We all know that. Eze is an inside forward that could play off the left channels. But when you let him play exclusively as a left winger, you're taking him away from the danger, like the danger areas where Eze can be very effective. The 1-2s, the little, around the corner pass to your forwards, him cut it in, shoot it. Yes, he can still do a lot of these off the left, but off the left, bro, you have a lot more to do than when you play centrally. Off the left, you might still have a lot more space. Don't get it twisted. You still have enough space to take on your fullback 1-on-1, but Eze is not blessed with like blistering pace. Eze is not like a Doku or like a Pedro Neto. Eze is not like a blistering type of winger. He's a very technical player. Yeah, he has some pace to him, but again, a lot of his good work, you're kind of messing it out when you're putting him out to the flanks. But now you're playing against Man City. I think Arsenal's defense, listen, you this is not even glazing. It's just you can respect the fact that they've built a very solid defensive unit. And when you see, Gabriel, Saliba, Saliba's been out, Mascara's come in, and he's looked good. Like, we're gonna call a spade a spade. Mascara's come in, and he's looked like he's been playing for Arsenal for a minute. That helps when you also have, a defensive structure that has been just built and set in stone. So whoever can come in, like even look at Kivior. Even Kivior last season was looking good in that setup. So it's just their structure, the way it's been set up. If you're good enough and you're a competent enough defender, you can play in it. And Mascara's coming and he's looking good. So defensively, I don't worry about them. They have enough going for it as well. Like you have Eze, you have Monieri, you have Trossard, Martinelli, Gyökeres. He's on 3 goals already. In as much as Gyökeres is looking real heavy, yeah, he got his goals against Leeds. Well, he got 2 against Leeds, got 1 in the last game as well. He's getting you goals. That's the most you can want from your striker. Even if he's not linking up play well, he's not looking, bro. As long as he's putting that ball in the back of the net, I don't think Arsenal fans are going to care. I don't think they will give a rat's ass. As long as he's scoring goals, Arsenal fans are calm. Going to Man City, Foden is starting to catch a bit life. Haaland is scoring goals. Doku's looking dangerous. All of a sudden, we're looking at this team and we're going, okay, you might not win the league. I mean, it's still very, very early, but you got Reinders, you got Rodri, Bernardo Silva is always going to be available, always going to play. But I don't think they're going to, like, Haaland, I've realized whenever he plays like, Saliba and Gabriel, like he struggles a lot. he struggles a lot. So I think Man City would need to have other people step up if they're going to win this game. But it's just, this feels like a game where Arsenal can win this game, maybe like a 2-1, or this game can end in like a 2-2. We can still get a classic, both teams scoring goals, but both teams keep coming back. Kuzanov, he's looked, good in the first couple of games. I think it's always important when you have Rodri in that midfield. That midfield battle is going to be very, very interesting. Rodri, Reinders, Foden against Rice, Zubimendi. Is he going to play Marino? Is he not going to play Marino? But I think he probably goes with Marino again. So it's that 3 against this 3. Gonna be fascinating. It's gonna be very interesting. I think Arsenal's midfield a lot strong. Would I say a lot stronger than Man City's? It's up for debate. I think that the midfield, the matchups, it's an interesting one because you have Reinders who can do a bit of everything, can get you goals, gives you energy in midfield. You have Rodri, still one of the best midfielders in the world. And then you have Foden who's starting to catch life a little bit. And then you have, that midfield battle. I want to see how that goes. I want to see who wins that midfield battle. But if I had to pick a winner, I got to go with Arsenal, the home team. I think defensively, they're keeping clean sheets. They're looking real boring at times. And they're going to always look for the set piece. They're going to look for the set pieces as always. But now they've started to add the Eze's creativity. They've started to add the Gyökeres goals. You have Noni who is doing well for them. So, yeah, we'll see how this matchup goes. But I could genuinely see it's weird. I can't see Man City winning this game. I could see them getting a draw, like a 2-2. But if I had to pick a winner, it's definitely going to be Arsenal. But yeah, these are my predictions for the weekend. Again, hopefully tomorrow. Look, I hope we win. If we don't, I won't be surprised because it's just we've had good teams come over here and we still haven't been able to take the dub. But we just can't. We can't lose tomorrow. If we do, oof, it's going to be a lot of crash outs if we lose tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of crash outs. Yo, but people, we're going to end it here. Appreciate you guys for coming through as always. Solomon, always appreciate you. CFC Gamer, appreciate you as well for coming through. Chelsea Mo, shout outs to you as well. Appreciate you as well. But yeah, man, hopefully, the guys bringing the win tomorrow and we're able to just kind of just go into the weekend and watching everybody else's results. If Everton able to do something early in the morning, we'll take that. But yeah, we'll see how the weekend pans out. It could be a lot of shock surprises that, shock results that maybe people wouldn't see coming that we might. But who knows, people? But yeah, I'm going to catch you on the next one, people. As always, sub to the channel, like the content, hop in the comments. Let me know how you feel about anything that has been discussed in this video. And yeah, I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.